So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you this Vox animation that I found, and it's very easy, simple, and I don't know the word for it, but it's good. So this is how the actual footage
But of
looks
course,
like.
pollsters didn't survey every American. They surveyed a sample of them. Today, pollsters find their sample of people to survey through a mix of phone calls, text messages, online surveys.
Alright, so we'll create a new composition and make it dots because that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a dotted line or background and make it 50 for the width and the height and hit OK. So when you do that, after that, we're just going to use the ellipse tool. Then here, then we'll turn off the stroke. Then we'll turn on the fill and make the color white. So we'll have to draw the ellipse to cover the whole composition. So to cover the square, hold Ctrl and double tap the pan behind to center the anchor point. Then align this circle to the center of the composition. We can scale it down to 80 or 50. So now that we're done, we have to drag the dot to this composition, that is our main composition. Then align it to the center like this. Then in the effects and presets, we'll add motion tile. So the motion tile, I'm going to increase the size of the output height and the size of the output width like this. So this is how it's going to look like. Now we want to do something a little bit to the dot because I want it to look a little bit, have a wider space. Yeah, so this is how it's going to look like. So if you wanted to have a wider space, all you have to do is increase the size or the aspect ratio of the composition. Right now I want to create a stroke around the entire composition, so all I have to do is double tap, or no, I'll just double tap the rectangle like this, but I'll turn off the fill. Then make sure my stroke is on, so I'll turn on the stroke by hitting the side, then move to the white. Then all I have to do is double click on this rectangle. So this is how it's going to look like. Now it's perfect. I would like to add a text to the background, so I will choose a font style which is Rubik. So I'll use Rubik for my font. So I'll use Rubik bold. Then I'll type US voting population. So it's going to be like this. So since it all kind of fits, all you have to do is center the anchor point to the text, then center align the text, then hit S for scale and decrease the scale size of the text. So I'll reduce it to, let's see, 50 is okay. No, 50 is too small. Anything that works perfectly, so I'll stick with 65. Alright, so I'll add a fill to this text. You guys watch carefully. I'm adding a fill to this text. Change the fill color to black. Then on the same text, we'll add shift channels. On the shift channels, we'll go to full on. Then I'll add a reptile, that's a CC reptile, and make the expand the right to 80, or make all the values to 80. So when you make all the values to 80, I'll add a CC composite. So this is how it's going to look like. So I'm later making a little adjustment or changes to the CC reptile. Is it reptile or reptile? I don't know. Alright, so I'm sticking with this because I want it like this. Okay. Alright, in the same effecting preset, we're going to add a blinking cursor. So we'll type blinking cursor, typewriter console. Then we'll tick off the checkbox for the cursor on and off. Yeah, so when we play, this is how it's going to look like. You see. So you can open up the keyframes and select the keyframe and hit F9 to easy ease. And if you want, you can choose to stretch out the keyframes if you don't like how fast it is. So what I'm going to do now is to still make some minor changes to this repeater. I hope I'm saying it correctly. So I'll go to our project and create a new compositions, then change the name to new main, then make the aspect ratio 1920 by what? By 1080. Then hit OK. So when I hit OK right now, what we are going to do to this timeline, we're going to drag our main to this, then we'll scale it to reduce the size. So I'll choose 70, or I can choose 75 anyway, but just trust the process. So I set a keyframe for the position and the scale, then move a couple frames forward, then I will drag or change the value of the scale to, let me say, 50. So when I change it to 50, I'll move the position to the left side. So I'll move it to the left side like this, and with the height I'll move it up like this. So when I do this, it's going to be like this. When I'm done, I can select all the keyframes. I can and push it to the right. So it's going to be like this. So just a little change. Just what I'm doing. Hit F9 to easy ease. So okay, this is good. Right now all we have to do is to create another stroke at the bottom right corner of the image. So I'll just draw a rectangle around it like this. Then reduce the stroke size to 10. Then I can choose to center the anchor point to, but like, let me just change this to 10 first. Alright, when we're done, we'll center the anchor point by double tapping the pan. Then we will reduce the stroke to 5 or 8. This okay. I would like to add a trim path to the stroke, but first I will press the left bracket to trim to the right. Then we'll go to add, then we'll select trim path. So with our trim path, I will open the trim path layer, then I will decrease the end to 0. But I don't want it to start from where it's starting from, so I'll just make a change to the start, then at the end. So I'll choose this, then make a keyframe for both, move a couple frames forward, then I'll increase it or reduce it. So I'll reduce this, then increase the end like this. Select all the trim path keyframes and hit F9 to easy ease. When we're done, this is how it's going to look like. From here we'll just make a keyframe for the opacity. So at this point I'll just hit the stopwatch, move a couple frames forward, then reduce the opacity. So I'll reduce it to 50 or 60 or 70. 82 is okay. Then we'll select all the frames, hit F9 to easy ease. So when we play it, it's going to be like this. I can stretch out the keyframes too if you want. So this is what I'll do. I'll change it to 75. Then stretch out the left side. So it's going to be like this. So I'll stretch out the left keyframe a little bit so that we'll achieve this. Alright, now what we're going to do next is to create a line, like, I don't know, like, okay, let me say a stroke. So we're going to create a stroke from this point. So I'll hit here, holding shift to make a straight line, then do one here, then do some at the right. Okay, this is good. So we'll go to add, then we'll go to trim path. Alright, so open up the trim path and make a keyframe with the end. So I'll take it to 0, then we'll click the stopwatch, then move a couple frames forward, then set the end to 100. We select all the keyframes, hit F9 to easy ease. So it's going to be like this. Alright, then we'll do just, I don't want the layer in front, so I would like to split it by hitting Ctrl Shift D, then delete the first, and we'll have this. Now it has been trimmed to the right, and that's what you want. So now what we have to do next is to create another stroke. That's the rectangle, and make it large. So it's going to be what we're going to have at the right side. So on this point, I'll just use my mouse, and with the blue points, I'll just stretch it out to scale it in size. So right now, after we get the square, we just have to drag our dot composition into this shape layer. So I'll drag it to here. Then from there, we go to effects and presets. Then type motion tile. And we do the same thing like we did the first. So we increase the size, or we increase the width and the height. Let me say it like that. Now you see that it is outside the square, so we have to mask it out by doing, or you create a shape layer around it. So when I create the shape layer to fit perfectly to the stroke square, then we'll pick up this to the shape layer 5. So I'll turn off this, then I'll click on this, the Luma matte selected, so we'll click on it, and we'll have the dots inside the square. So at this point, I can create as many dots by increasing it, or increasing the height, or increasing the width. Yeah, so I'm going to increase the height and the width, and now we have to animate the dots. So we have to make the dots move. So in order to make the dots move, all I have to do is we use the title center and move the height. So at this, I want to trim the dot composition to the right, so I use the left bracket, or the left open bracket, and now we have this. So I'll set a keyframe for the title center, I'll move a couple frames forward, then with the height I'll just increase it as many as as far as I can go. So I'll just keep on pushing it to the right. Yeah, so you can do it as many as you can. So you just keep on pushing. You can take it to 1 million if you can take it to, at least just watch what I'm doing. So I'll select all the keyframes, hit F9 to easy ease, then Okay, it's too fast, so we will hold Alt and stretch the right keyframe to the right or to the right side so that it will be a little bit slow, but it's still fast, so you can stretch it out again until we get very slow movements like this. This is okay, but it depends on you. You can still stretch it out if you want. Then we'll go to this shape layer, then we'll increase the size because it's not big enough. We want it to be big, so increase the size by stretching out with our points. The other dots are not showing, so we just hit the mask, then we'll stretch it out like this so that we can see the full dot composition inside the stroke. So it's going to be like this. Right now we hold Control and double tap the pan behind to center the anchor point of the mask. We can choose to scale it. We can choose to increase the size of the square. So go here, then we'll reduce the stroke to 5. The square is not, I think the square is not big enough, so we just have to still increase the size of the mask. Then we'll click on this shape layer 4 and increase it like this for it to fit perfectly. You can still choose to increase it. So we'll go to our main composition and copy the text by hitting Ctrl C and move back to our new main and hit Ctrl V to paste. And I'll hit S for scale, then I'm going to scale it down for it to fit into our core, right? So I'm going to type sample, then when I'm done, no, I'll remove the V. So when I'm done, I'm going to drag, hit V for the selection tool, then drag it to the center. So from there, when you drag it to the center, let it align to the center. You can scale it now for it to fit that square. You get it? So at this point, I'm going to do this, and now we just hit Ctrl Shift D, then delete the left layer. Alright, so let's play from the beginning, see how it looks now. Alright, so now we have to drag the sample to the top of the square like this. Now you can see the black cutout, so you just have to reduce the repeater. Oh, you get, yeah, so 8, then 8. Yeah. But if it's still not enough, we can increase it more, so I'll be increasing it more. So just follow the value that I'm going to use. Alright, so this is okay. Now I'm going to press U, then I'll drag the slider keyframe to the right side so that it animates when it appears like this, better than just appearing just like that. So you get what I'm saying, so it'll be like this. Alright, so what next we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the we'll go to our project, then we will create a new composition. Then we'll type second scene because that's what we're going to do. Yeah, so when you're done, hit OK. Now I'll go back to my new main, then I would like to create a pre-composition with just this square. So I'll make a pre-composition, then type sample pre. Yeah, so what we have to do is right now we have to create a region of interest. So I'll click here, then I'll make a square around this sample. Then I'll go to my composition, then go to crop to region of interest. Yeah, so when we are done, we just have to drag the sample pre to the second scene, and we're going to have this, right? So that's good. So now I'm going to align it to the center vertically and horizontally, but it seemed I'm too perfect, so I was able to do it. Now I'll go back to my main, then I'll drag this to here, because when you make a region of interest and change position, it changes again, so you must change it back. So this is what you're going to get. All right, now that you're done, we just shift this to the right and we're good. Okay, so I'll go back to my second scene. Then I'm going to create the I just have to create the icons and all those kind of things. So I drag my phone or my phone logo icon, then I'll type fill. When you type fill, your effects and preset becomes red. So I'm going to change it to white by going here, then that's all. But I want it to be similar to what is in the reference or in the video. So I want something to be on top of the phone. So watch what I'm going to do. So I'll go to my project, then I'm going to add this bubble text, go to effects and preset, type fill. Then I'm going to change the color from red to white. Then I'm going to hit S for scale, then scale it down. You get it? You get it? Yeah. So when I scale it down, at this point I can, when I get the perfect size, I can pre-compose it, right? So to do that, I'll just click both of them by holding shift like this, then Control Shift C to pre-compose it. Then I can type phone, then phone bubble or whatever I want, then type OK. So then if you want to, you can create a region of interest. So I'm going to create a region of interest for this, make a square around it, go to my, let me make it up like this. Okay, this is perfect. I'll go to my crop prompt region of interest, then I'm done. So when I'm done, I have to go back to my second scene, then drag it to the right corner like this. So now we have a whole icon at itself or on itself. Then I'm going to hit S for scale, then scale it down to 80. Yeah. Right now I have to create my stroke. So to create my stroke, I'll go to my pen tool, then but I don't want it to be filled, so I'll remove the fill. So I'll go to no fill, then I'll turn on the stroke, then I'll click here, then hit OK. So when I'm done, I'll use 3, then I'll make the line. If you want to use the hand to, just hit H so that I can have wherever you can get it. So I'll hold shift, then I'll make a line like this with this with the pen tool. Then I'll just drag it down from the last point. That's it. So from there you can do what you until it looks perfect. Okay. Alright, now after I get this, I'm going to create a trim path. So I'll go to add, then I'll go to my trim path. Yep. So I'll make a keyframe from the end. So I'll set the end to 0, then I'll make a keyframe by hitting the stopwatch, move a couple frames, then set it to 100. So I'll select all the keyframes, hit F9 to easy ease, then you're done. So this is how it's going to look like. So now the stroke is quite long, but before that I want to hold Alt, then stretch out this keyframe to the left, then we're okay. Alright, now what we have to do next is to some little adjustment. I would like to create the circle around the tip of the stroke, so I'll just remove the stroke from here, then hit OK. Then I'll go to my fill and I'll choose the color yellow. So I'll go to, okay, this one's okay, so I hit OK. So when I'm done, I'll just have to go to my ellipse tool at this side, then I'll click on it, then I'll make a circle. I just hold shift for a perfect shape. Then from there I'll just make it perfect. Alright, so when I'm done, just make sure it aligns perfectly on the tip of it. Then hit S for scale, then scale it down a little bit. So no, 50 is not okay. So then, so right now we want to center the anchor point, because that's the anchor point is beneath the circle. So we just hold control, then double click on the anchor point like this. And now we just have to create an opacity animation. So hold T for opacity, set the keyframe to 0 like this. Then we'll click the stopwatch, move a couple frames forward. So let me zoom in the timeline. Right. Move a couple frames like this, then set it to 100. So at this point I can select all, then hit F9 to easy ease. Alright, so it's very fast. So all you have to do is hold Alt, then we'll stretch out the right keyframe to the right like this. So okay, you can choose to stretch it out again, so I'll choose or stretch it out like this. What we have to do is animate when the phone appears to the screen. So I'll go to my animation composer, then I'll have to go to this transition, then I think this is okay, or no, I'll go to the last one like this, then I'll click in. So when I click in, the moment you go back like this is how it's going to be like. So I don't want a lot of bounce, so I'll set the bounce to 1. So it will be like this. Okay. Oh yeah, so now we're done. But I would like the sample to appear on the screen because it appears very slow or something like that. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So I just have to fix that. So to fix that, I'll just click here, hit Ctrl Shift D, then I'll delete this layer. Then I'll just drag this to the left. So all I pressed was the brackets, so it will come back. Yeah, when you play this highlights, but the stroke is too long, so I just have to drag this to the left like this. Yeah, so anything that makes it perfect, just do that one. Yeah, you get it. So this is what you're going to get. So you are going to do the same thing for the rest. Let me change the opacity to, so the opacity to is taking time. So I just need to do a perfect timing of them. So I'll drag the opacity to the right like this. So at the moment the stroke drops, that's when it comes on. You get it? So like this. Yeah. So now that we're done, we need to do the other icons or images or logos or whatever that's called. I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry. So I'll drag this because the time is what is necessary. Get it? Alright, so when you're done, I'll go to my project, then I'll drag in my other icon. So I'll drag in the phone icon or the text message icon, whatever it's called. So when I do that, I'll bring it to the left, then I'll go to effects and presets and type fill. Then I'll do the same thing that I did for the last one. So I'm going to change the color to white, then hit OK, press S for scale. Then I will scale it down like this until it's perfect. So I'll change to 50. 50 is okay. So let me place it to the right. So something like this. After I do that, I have to do the stroke again. So I hit G, or you can go and click the pen to, then you make your stroke. So you remove the fill to none, then hit OK, then turn this on, then change to white, then hit OK. Then with holding shift, just make the point here, then make it there to create your stroke. So from there, all I have to do is copy the effect or the trim path effect of the first one, that is the phone. So I just copy it, then so I'll copy the end like this, Ctrl C, then I'll go to my second stroke, then paste it on where I want it to be. So I want it to start here like this, then I hit Ctrl V, So the moment I play, it animates like this. So there's no need for me to go all the way to add and do this keyframe from the beginning. Get it? Yeah. So I'll just drag this to the top, and now I'll just hit Control D to duplicate the yellow point, then drag it down to where we want our second icon to be. So there's no need to do everything from scratch. So right now I just have to animate or just fix the timing of it. So the moment the stroke drops, that's when it appears. So, so something like this. I'm going to drag it back like this or to the right. Then drag it to the right again. So I'll take it to the right, I'll shift it to the right. Okay, this is okay. So now we just have to do the same for the rest. But now I think I must animate the icon. So I'll go to my animation composer, then I'll hit in. So I'll select this layer before, so we must select a layer before, then click in, then change the bounce to 1. So it's going to be like this. Yeah, you get it. um this is good. Now I'll go to my project, then I'll drag in my other icon. So I'll drag in this letter icon or something like that. I'll drag in this icon, change the fill to white, then hit OK, then S for scale, then scale it down to 50 or 40. It depends. We must make it have kind of the same size. So then I'll do my stroke again, hit Control to remove the mask. That's it. Then I'll make the stroke again like this. Always make sure to hold shift for a straight line. Then I'll make another point to the I'll just drag this point to the right. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to split this layer at the left side. So I'll drag it to here, then hit Control Shift D. Then I'll delete this. Then we have this. Get it? Now I'll do this one too. So when I'm done, I'll go to my animation composer, then add the animation to it. So I'll click on the animation composer, then I'll go in. So I change the bounce to 1, and that's it. Oh, that's all. Yeah, so this is how it's going to be like. So we're going to do the same thing or the same process for the other ones. You get it? So at this point, since you guys get the process, I don't know if I should fast forward or you guys want me to still take you through. I don't know. I've done 3, and I doubt that you guys will even do what I'm doing. Alright, no problem. So let me just do the same thing. Hit Control D, then I'll change this to the point. Yeah, so I'll know what I'm using. Always be I don't know the word for it, but like always make sure to be organized. Yeah, and always name your layers. I don't know why I'm not named other ones, but always make sure to name your layers. This is just a breakdown, that's why. But if I was actually editing, I would have organized it better. I get it. So you guys make sure, don't be like me. Always be organized. That's what I mean. Yeah. So I'm going to fast skip at this point to our last one. All right, now that I'm done, I would like to animate the icon by hitting Alt, hold Alt, then click on this stopwatch, then type wiggle 25. Yeah, so it gives off this kind of floating animation. Yeah, something like this. So we are going to do the same thing for the rest. So in order to do the same thing for the rest, you don't have to go all the way and go to P, then hold Alt, then you type wiggle 250. Even though I'm doing it, there's a better way to do it. You get it? So what you must do is go to your position and right click or go to this side. Then right click, then go to copy expression only. When you go to copy expression only, now I can go to my other icon, then paste. So I'll just click on this position, then press Ctrl V, then to be pasted. Yeah, that's it. So I'll just do the same thing for the rest. Rather than going all the way, hold Alt, then type in wiggle, whatever. So this is how it's going to be like. Yeah, so if you watch the video, it has this slight floating animation. This, you get it. It gives it that oomph. You get it. Now, what we have to do next? All right. So now what we have to do next is now I have to just make sure the stroke aligns perfectly with the point and all that. So I'll go here, then I'll go to my effects and presets in this composition, right? Because it's too smooth. So I'll go to effects and preset, then go to posterize time. Then I'll change my posterize time to 12 so that it gives this kind of aesthetic feel. You get it? So I'll do the same thing here. So all I did was copy my adjustment layer, then copied it into the second scene. So it gives this kind of feel. Yes, yes. Alright, so that's basically everything. You just have to add the second scene to the main, and that's all. Thank you for watching at the end. This is what you're going to get. And before that, please make sure to subscribe. Yeah, that's all.